All right. Excellent. All right. So you guys know me. My name is Lacey from Alchemy Fitness and Health. Um, Thank you guys for popping on today. I really appreciate it. This is only the second one I've done, and I'm technologically challenged, so I think we're gonna get through this pretty well. But I do want you guys to drop a comment in the chat real quick, answering two questions for me. What are you hoping to learn today about resetting your health? And what area of health are you looking to improve? There's no better time than the present to reset where you are and make sustainable changes, right? There's no reason to wait till Monday. You can always start right now, no matter what you're doing. So today we're going to go over 3 steps to help you do just that. At Alchemy Fitness and Health, we've partnered with Healthy Steps Nutrition to support our clients using a framework that's guided, tested, and proven. We believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated. So that's why we focus on a simple habit-based approach with our nutrition program. We know that helping you become the best and healthiest version of yourself isn't just about what you eat or going to the gym a few hours a week. We have to focus on a holistic approach, addressing not only our nutrition and our workouts, but our stress management, our mindset, our support system, and our lifestyle. You guys are going to see this nice little wheel a few times during this presentation. So get comfy with it. Now we know that while it's simple to look at these things and make these changes, it's far from easy. And with all the misinformation out there regarding the best diets, the best foods, the best exercise programs, like it's no wonder we feel so overwhelmed and at times super ready to give up. The program that we like to use with Healthy Steps Nutrition has helped over 50,000 people around the world take control of their health. And here you get to see some of our own personal ones from our gym. Far from all of them. A couple of you guys have been through our program before, so you are familiar with it. I'm so excited to have you on here. All right, so let's get to those 3 things. I told you I wouldn't babble too much. So the first step is a self-assessment. We're going to get real with ourselves so we can create an actual plan for success. Like I mentioned earlier, we focus on a holistic approach to health, addressing nutrition, stress, sleep, mindset, support, and lifestyle. And as we go through each of these areas, you're going to have the opportunity to grade yourself on a scale of A to F. All right. So we're going to get started with the first part of that wheel and talk about nutrition. We're going to be rating our nutrition. With our nutrition program, we do have 3 core principles. We focus on whole foods first, choosing whole food options with less processed foods that are packed with sodium, fat, and sugar. And a simple way to do this is by reshaping your plate using the plate method. I'm going to talk to you about that in just a second. Our second core principle as far as nutrition goes is focusing on a balance of macronutrients. And when I say balance, I mean, does every meal and snack have carbs, protein, and fat? Pairing each meal and snack with all 3 of those macros is going to help you feel fuller longer. And most people, this is subject to change for everybody, but most people generally do really well with about 40% carbs, 30% fat, and 30% protein. And then the third part of our nutrition that we like to focus on is limiting the number of processed carbs and sugar. The American Health Association recommends no more than 6 teaspoons and for women of sugar and 9 for men. So to make that easy and transfer to what you would see on a label, that's going to be 24 grams for females and 36 grams for males. And I mean, the average American eats well over 150 pounds of sugar a year. So they're definitely far from that. And I mean, sugar is snuck into everything that we have. Like right now, I am drinking an organic kombucha. You want to guess how much added sugars it has? 21 grams. So it's not, you really got to pay attention to your labels. That's pretty much all my sugar I'm allowed for the day, right? All right, so with nutrition being the first part of our wheel that we're going to look at, we're going to give ourselves a rating A to F based on how well we kind of eat that whole plate method. With the plate method, we're able to create a really balanced plate of those carbs, proteins, and um, fats. So the way we do that is half of our plate in non-starchy veggies. Yes, those are carbs, but we're going for the non-starchy. They're going to be lower in calories. They're going to fill you up more. And then a quarter of our plate in lean protein and a quarter of our plate in our starchier carbs, those being things like your potatoes, your grains, your squashes. All right. And then just paying attention to healthy foods or healthy fats on the side. So having a look at this plate, you can see how we've kind of got that set up. There's examples on all of that. I want you to look at that. Think about how mostly whole foods are going to allow for more vitamins, minerals, fiber, and better overall energy. So looking at that plate method, thinking about your food intake and kind of how you stack your plate in your meals, go ahead and give yourself a rating, A to F, on how you think you do there. And then the next part of that wheel we're going to self-assess is stress management and mindset. How are you handling stress in your life? It's interesting to note that while acute stress can actually be beneficial for your body, it's the chronic stress that's detrimental. It weakens your immune system, it heightens your risk of chronic disease, it makes weight loss more challenging, it increases your cortisol. That's your stress hormone that can hinder your weight loss efforts and lead to increased fat storage. And that's just, really tough when levels are elevated. It's way harder to kind of bring all that down. So practicing self-care is a way to reclaim your power. Taking time for yourself is essential and it allows you to recharge instead of running on empty all the time. So if stress is a part of your life, it is. How do you cope with it? Are you engaging in positive affirmations? Are you setting aside intentional quiet time? Are you using mindfulness techniques? Like, what are you able to do for yourself in there? I want you to think about kind of your habits and your routines for self-care and evaluate yourself, again, on that scale, A to F. And then our next pillar is sleep. It's optimal for health, especially hormone health. It resets you. It helps build your muscles. It stores your memory, promotes your weight loss. Sleep is so, so vitally important. Research shows that you consistently need 7-ish hours of sleep. Like we've heard this a million times, right? But about 35% of us don't quite get that. So think about where you're at, what your general average is. Go ahead, give yourself a rating, A to F. And then we're going to move on to the next part of that wheel, which is exercise. So we really want to embrace daily movement. It's suggested to engage in 30 minutes of physical activity every day. Consider a 15-minute walk after meals. That's going to greatly enhance your blood sugar levels. Walking outdoors has numerous benefits, and ample research shows that it supports the effectiveness of nature therapy and incorporating movement throughout your day, right? And then additionally, we all know integrating strength training at least 3 times a week is excellent for our bodies. There's a book by Dr. Gabrielle Lyon called Forever Strong, and she emphasizes that we don't really face an obesity crisis, but rather a deficiency in muscle. Many people are not strength training, they're not consuming enough protein daily, and all of that's going to hamper muscle development, the strength in our bones, and that's going to elevate the risk of chronic disease as we age. So, thinking about your strength training and your exercise, give yourself a rating, A to F. And then the next part of that wheel is our support system. It is a huge piece of the puzzle. Research shows that we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. Think about who those 5 people are for you. And then I want you to do a little activity with me. I want you to imagine you're a crab. You've been captured. You've been placed in a bucket. All right. The only way to get out is up. You escape and you continue your journey. But a week later, you get captured again. And this time you're surrounded by fellow crowds. You're trying your best to climb out, and your fellow crowds are pulling you back down. Because if they can't escape, why should you? Why should you experience success if no one else has? Right? Now, think about the five people closest to you. Are they pulling you up out of the bucket, or are they pulling you down? Or do they have no effect on you either way? Take a couple of minutes, assess that, and give yourself an A to F. And then the next part of the wheel is our lifestyle choices. Lifestyle encompasses extracurricular activities, alcohol consumption, daily decisions, and social engagements. The ultimate aim is to simplify the healthy decisions. So consider these couple of tips. Stock healthy snacks and pre-cut fruits and veggies in your fridge. You'll be more inclined to grab a handful of berries when you open the fridge instead of hitting the cabinet for cookies or chips. Another tip, choose active gatherings with friends versus activities that center around sitting, drinking, and mindless snacking. And then another tip is find an accountability partner to hit the gym with. I want you guys to kind of think about your lifestyle stuff. Take a second to assess that. And then we're going to hit hard with some truth. We want to make health a way of life, right? Like I said, we want to simplify it as much as possible. And all of these things influence each other. We go through seasons where we may focus on one part of that wheel more than the other, but we need all of those parts and they all affect each other. So I want you to take a second, think about these areas. How are you doing? Are your daily actions in line with what you want for yourself? Which one of these pillars are you nailing? And which one do you need help with the most? All right, so that's our step one. That's our first thing is that self-assessment. It's a long one, but it's very important because that's going to lead us into our second one. We're going to think about all of those things that we had just assessed, and we're going to pick one thing that's standing out for you on your report card that you just gave yourself. Most people feel overwhelmed because there's so much information out there. A habit-based approach like we use is much more effective. In today's world, we want instant results, and we do everything to extreme, like trying to implement 75 things in 75 days. We go all in and then we're all out, right? We skip a bunch of steps along the way, and then we just end up right back where we started. So why do we just focus on one thing at a time? Why not two or more? Well, because research shows that focusing on one thing at a time, there's a greater than 80% chance success rate in maintaining that habit a year from now. If you try and go for two things at a time, that decreases it to 30%. And three things drops it to 5%. So that's why we really focus on finding that one thing first. Our habits are patterns of behavior that we have ingrained to the point that they're automatic responses. They happen consistently in certain situations or contexts, and they're mostly below our level of awareness. About 40% of our daily actions are automatic. And I would venture to say that for a lot of people, those 40% are not serving them in a way that they want for the health and wellness goals. Your habits become your routine. Your routine becomes your lifestyle. So again, are your daily habits moving you towards or away from your goals? And for most of us, we have really great intentions, but there's roadblocks, there's temptations, there's always things that get in the way. Just like building a house, the workers lay brick by brick to make an amazing house. Well, our lifestyle is the same way. Our daily habits stack and stack and stack to create our lifestyle. So slowing down and focusing on that one thing can actually speed up our progress. So think about the last time you tried to lose weight or start something new. Like, how many things did you try simultaneously? And then how did that work out? Like, we tend to try and change so many things at once, and then it just doesn't serve us well in the end. So instead, that's why we focus on that one thing at a time. And then the third step to resetting your health is finding your tribe. You already have your 5 people, right? And that's equally important to finding a tribe that you can connect with through shared interests. So consider connecting with individuals who are further along in their health and wellness journeys. It's essential to have someone who's just a step ahead of you that you can trust and learn from. So, like, why reinvent the wheel? Align yourself with someone who's made significant progress so that you can accelerate your own journey. Having a coach or a mentor can help facilitate rapid change and bring you closer to your objectives way sooner. And additionally, surround yourself with cheerleaders who support and encourage you. And then another really great tip in this is to also have some students who can learn from your experiences, right? You're holding yourself accountable to the people you're looking up to, and then you have people that you're helping along in your journey looking up to you. It's a win-win for everybody. So who comprises of your tribe? Why is it important to you? What motivates you to make this change? You should be able to express to the people in your life the reasons that you're doing this, the reasons that you're making these changes, and how they can assist you in your journey. I mean, short, sweet, I told you. So, as we wrap up, I'd like for you to take a minute or two, reflect on everything that we just talked about, and tell me what stood out to you the most. You guys can totally unmute, chit chat, type it in the comments, whatever works best for you. Is there any one thing that really stood out?
Yeah, not gonna lie. So y- you all offered something very similar to this a couple of years ago, almost like to the date. And I was thinking about my grades that I gave myself then on a similar analysis to the grades that I gave myself today, right? They're higher, still need some work, right?
Yep.
But I was giggling at, what a difference a couple of years can make, and to your point of working with a coach, what a difference that makes, right? And then I was also giggling about how shitty my sleep still is.
I mean,
So
same, but I keep working
yeah,
on it.
yeah, uh, I need. I made a couple of notes there in your chat. It was, consistency and improved sleep, and I think those two words need to go together on the same line.
Yeah,
Uh, that would be, yeah. That's what kept going through my mind the whole time you were talking.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bryn, Casey, y'all got anything you want to share?
For me, I guess it was everything. I mean, it was all the things that I know that I know that I know, but just have a difficulty following through on a lot of the times. And the trying to fix everything at once really stood out because it's like you said, you sort of fall into that trap where one thing starts working and then you add in another and then you add in another and everything's just sort of gelling. But then, in reverse, something, life, whatever happens, and one thing falls, and then the next one falls off again, and the next one falls off. And like I'm at that point now where it's just like nothing's driving again, and I'm trying to get everything back at once instead of just focusing on the one thing. And sleep in general is just absolutely atrocious as well. And I know that it is a direct corollary to stress and stress management that's going on. And but um, trying to find a better sleep hygiene, but just being in such a routine and habit of what I do for sleep that I think, all right, well, this will be the night that I'll fall asleep, and I don't,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, I mean, it was things that I know, but also needed to be rehear again,
Yeah.
type of thing. Just constant reminders and that accountability, not only for myself but from somebody else. Just hearing it. Yep.
Yeah, I will say, and of course, you guys know we have our coaching program in the gym. And it's great because we do, I will say from my personal experience, I love having a coach because while I may have some of these things dialed in, I'm like ADD. My brain is everywhere. And so my coach would always remind me, she's like, Lacey, you said you had these three goals for the year. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I totally forgot about half of those because I already jumped on three new ones. And she like bring me back and she's like, all right, every week she's like, where are you at with this? Where are you at with this? And I'm like, yes, because I will straight squirrel and dive off a different bridge. So that has been huge for me and keeping me accountable and focused on what it is that, that habit that I was supposed to be working on.
Hey, Brian, I'm sorry Lacey, are you done?
There you go.
Brian, I couldn't help but
Brandon
relate to
also one of our coaches. Um,
I could relate to just about everything you said, about especially like when you've got good habits going and, they're all going to not always be perfectly level. You're going to, it's just how life goes, right? But then when life starts lifing and you get those like heavy life events, you kind of set one of those things on the wheel to the side, and then another one falls off. And yeah, I could. I've been through that a couple of times in life, and kind of coming out of it. I appreciate you sharing everything that you did there because there was so much that I could relate to. Yeah, that was. I think we're here for the same reasons.
Yep.
I mean, we can always use support. We can always use accountability. It doesn't matter who you are. There's no one that's immune to it. Everyone needs it. We're human. So yeah, I really enjoy our program. I love the way that we kind of throw everything together in that holistic approach. And with our one-on-one coaching, we find that one thing that sticks out to you the most. We help you focus on that one thing at a time. We hold you accountable. We use an app that we customize based on your goals and the habits that you're ready to work on. We don't force you goals. We say, hey, what can you handle? What do you know you can be 80% successful with? Like, what are you excited to work on? And that's the one we choose. We don't pick them for you. They're definitely led by the client, which is something I really love because you're not forcing something down someone's throat. You're letting them work at their pace. And then, we can check your daily engagement in the app and check in with you every week and then have monthly meetings. So, if you have someone that would really benefit from one-on-one, absolutely send them our way. If you would benefit, absolutely send them our way. Now, I do want to tell you, which Brent, I think you're in this one because you haven't gone through it yet as one of our coaches. But we have our Fit for Summer Kickstart starting on the 27th of April. Dan, I know you're in it. We've got a nice sign up at the gym of people that are jumping in, but it's really fun because it just kind of throws you in and gives you a big cheerleading squad. And it's only 28 days long. So, that kind of gets you in the mindset for the changes that we need to make, especially with summer coming. The sun's out now. Everybody's got more energy. We're all, ready to just kind of tackle the world now because the seasons have changed. So it's really fun. It's only 4 weeks long. And it's simple. So definitely encourage you guys to check that out. We only do one a year. So yeah, and if you've got any questions, you can always reach out. There are links on the PDF that I put in the chat. There are links on all of the sheets, and then you can also find all of our stuff on the Instagram and all the socials. So yeah, y'all got any questions? Let's open it up for Q&A.
I feel like Brent and I spoke quite a bit. Casey, you got anything?
I think she had to step off.
Oh,
Yep. But yeah. All right.
got it.
Thank you guys.
Lacey,
I will
great
be
job.
thanks. I will be sending this out. This will be available on a YouTube. So if you want to share it with anybody, I'll get that sent out to everybody. But yeah, I super appreciate you guys being here and listening to me babble and and your input.
Thanks,
Awesome job.
Lacey.
Yes,
Good
thanks.
job. Thank you.
Bye.
Yep.
Have a good
See you
night.
guys.